This is the Valiant. This is a British Tier 5 medium tank. The map is Prokhorovka. It's got average penetration, and the view range is not that great. So I'm not going to spot for my team over here unless they really need me to. And the penetration's not so much. I can penetrate, won't be able to penetrate the front of any tank. So I'm going to come over here and spot from the middle. So I was talking about my friend and the Howard Stern show. He tried to get on the Howard Stern show, but another guy got on who was paralyzed, who I had driven both of them to be on the show. They only let the paralyzed guy on, the blind guy no. So around a week later, my friend was doing call-in, and he was a call-in guest on the show. And I was in the shower, because, you got to wait in line a long time to get on. And so my friend was on while I was in the shower, and I actually do take a shower sometimes. And when I came out, there was a delay, so they were replaying the phone call, and Howard started making fun of him. So I'm going to tell you the story. My friend called in. One of the things he said, because, he's blind, he said, "Oh, I want to thank you so much. Without you, I'd have little reason to live." He's saying stuff like that. Howard, I really appreciate you. I'm blind, and radio is so important to me. And your life, he called Howard ugly, is what he did. He said, "I know you say you're not a good-looking person. Remember, he's blind. He might not even know what Howard looks like. And it means so much to me that you're such a great person, even though you overcame so many adversity." And he talked about, how he was a surfer before he was blind. And, yeah, because, this was radio day, not TV day, so he didn't know what Howard looked like. And he was a skateboarder. He was in the Guinness Book of World Records. He owned his own surf shop. He became blind from a traffic accident. And he was a wrestler, a blind wrestler. And he did a lot of things. He used to do stunts for a radio station where they would tell him to, do something. Usually it was a stunt that somebody else did, but they would do let's have the blind guy do the same stunt they did on the TV show Survivor or something like that. I remember one of them was eating a rat, and, eating a rat on the radio is a little dumb. So he would do all these blind man stunts. And my friend Mike, he met tons of women. He was always sending me photos with all these beautiful women, all these models and cheerleaders and stuff like that. And he would tell me stories about, okay, I don't want to get into the stories because I could talk on forever about all the different stories he told me. He had just had tons of fun stories. So he was on Stern. He spoke for me. He was on the radio for maybe a minute or two. And he told Stern, he does music production because he was a singer. He had a band. And he had some songs about blind people. They were actually good songs. He was a funny guy. And when he hung up, he had mentioned the video toaster. He did video work. And the reason why is because he didn't like it when people told him, "You're blind, you cannot do anything anymore." So when he heard about this video product, he said, "I want to do it." And they said no. He actually found a way to do it because he had a company, he had employees. He did video production, and the production that their company did was actually really good. I don't know who managed the equipment. He only did the video work goofing around. And usually if you watch his video work, it was pretty funny to watch because his commentary, he'd be like, "Okay, I'm filming this person," and then you're seeing it, whatever he was filming was just something completely different. So it was always really funny. I remember he's telling us, okay, so he's on Stern, and when they got off the phones, Howard started making fun of him and saying, "I don't believe you. I saw your material. I don't believe that a blind man and do video production. So, Mike, it's like the fake news. You say it's my company and I produce this, but really it was his employees that did all the stuff that he can't do. And when Mike operates the video equipment, he works very slowly because he's got to use the software. And back then, the speech software was very slow. If a blind person wanted to use a computer, it was a slower process than it is nowadays. They had all the software to do it. Like I said, it was just a lot more difficult to use. I'm not going to get the gun mark. I'm going to get absolutely nothing. So, when I came out of the shower, I hear Howard making fun of him, which was sad. And we went to the amusement park. We went to a water park. And we went on the water slides while he was blind. And sometimes it wasn't that bad. Sometimes it was no big deal. I just made sure he went first. And I told him where to sit down to go on the water slide. But there were times that it was two different slides. And he had to go down. And I had to meet him at the bottom. And the staff, they asked, is he going to be okay? I said, yeah, he's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. And he had to go down a different slide than I was going down, so it was a little bit more work for some of the slides. But he liked going on the water slides. And it was funny because there was a little kid, like a 10-year-old kid, making fun of him for being blind, telling blind jokes. So he actually went into a coma after going on the water slide. It wasn't immediately like he fell into a coma. But what happened was he didn't go to sleep at night because he claimed that the airline lost his luggage. We don't know that really happened. The guy's blind. We don't know. Nobody came with him. We don't know what happened with his luggage. It's possible that his luggage was there. He just wasn't able to find it. So it took a while. He had to stay up all night to get his luggage. Because we were 2 hours from the airport, it was a big deal. He had to wait for them to call back and to do the luggage delivery. Yeah. I'm not paying attention much to the game. So he went to Chicago. I was in New York at the time. And when he was in Chicago, he had like a heart attack or something, and he was in a coma for like 6 months. And that's when we stopped being friends because I moved to New York and I started working, which means I was busy all day. We used to chat every day because, when you're self-employed, you got nothing to do. You just chat all day. And we were in the same line of business. We had the same clients. And he helped me get a lot of business. I helped him with a lot of business. I helped him when he needed something. I would get it for him, computer equipment. And I gave him news stories that he would use in his magazine column. So he did a magazine column, and I would give him all sorts of great news stories because I used the internet back in like 93 and 94, and nobody was using the internet back then. So I knew all sorts of scoops that the magazines would publish like 2 months later, and he was scooping the magazine by 2 months because of all the lag time in the news. It was all rumors, but they were true rumors, It was rumors that were actually accurate. But we had to call it a rumor because we didn't have press releases. Where would you get a press release in 1992 or 93? You wouldn't have access to that, so we just had to call it. So they got angry that he was scooping the magazine, so they took his column away from him. And the editor of the magazine took the column, and he thought that all these rumors and scoops were coming from the general public, but they were coming from me. He didn't know they were coming from me, and I'm not going to give the guy news scoops who took the column away from my friend. You know what I mean? So his column didn't really work. So that was a dumb move on his part. Oh, it's a game. I'm not going to get the gun mark, but hopefully it won't go down too much. It was at 63.8. Oh, I could eat some corn chicken. I'm going to show you the corn chicken so you believe me. This is corn chicken right here. This is the large can. This is the small one's like this big. But this is typical food here in the Philippines. $63.57. It went down by like 0.2